Okay, so it's 2:05 now. We'll go ahead and get this started. Um, First of all, Rod, you can hear everything okay? Audio's coming okay?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
Okay, and then Elise, have you joined the call yet?
She will join shortly.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this started. So again, thank everybody for joining the call. We want to give thanks to the Illinois Tollway and specifically the Illinois Tollway Technical Assistance Program for allowing this bid buy training to happen. We want to thank the folks over at Inner City Underwriting, Matt Cooper for hosting, Rod Johnson for being over technology and recording this and making sure that everything works right. And just housekeeping, Rod does have everybody on mute, but if we should get to a place where we do open the lines, please have uh, keep your phone on mute just so that we can prevent background noise so we can hear the folks talking and asking questions. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started with the presentation. We can go to the next slide. Okay, there we go. Appreciate it, Rod. Thank you. So this is the Illinois Tollway Authority Bid Buy Training. Bid Buy is the state of Illinois' e-procurement system, and the Tollway utilizes Bid Buy as its e-procurement system, and it's a way that the Tollway accepts bids and proposals. So just to set some expectations, what we hope you walk away with, well, first of all, we hope you do not walk away with is you're not going to walk away from this hour session as a bid by master. But what we do hope that you will walk away with from this session is a basic familiarity with bid by, but more importantly, access to the tools and resources to eventually become adept at bid by, maybe a bid by master. Um, we will email this deck to everyone after the call and just want to make sure that we all understand that the ultimate goal is to prepare um, women, minority, veteran-owned businesses to bid and win tollway work. And so this is one of the steps because you need to have a certain expertise with the product or service you provide. You also need to be able to make sure that you properly price the proposal to win and make money. And then the next thing you have to make sure is your paperwork is correct, and then you have the right partners, whether that be prime contractors you're working with, subs that you're employing, joint venture partnerships, or technical assistance providers to help you through the process. And so this slide that you're looking at now is what we'll cover in this session. We're going to cover understanding the strategic entry points, unbundling and small business set-aside opportunities, registering for bid buy training for vendors, finding opportunities, managing multiple quotes, managing an individual quote, preparing technical proposals, and preparing the pricing proposal. And so if we can go to the next slide, please. Okay, so there we go. Um, so strategic entry point. Um, there are four strategic entry points that I see that are available. There might be more, but um, one is identifying unbundled opportunities. We'll talk about that on the next slide, but basically unbundled opportunities with the tollway are projects that are 10 million or less that are unbundled for small businesses to be encouraged to bid on tollway work. One thing that you do need to note about unbundled opportunities versus small business set-aside opportunities is that some of the larger prime contractors can bid and compete with the smaller vendors with the unbundled opportunities. The second set would be the small business set-aside opportunities. Key difference to the small business set-aside opportunities and unbundled would be that you have to be registered and certified as a small business set-aside vendor. With that, construction firms, you qualify to be a small business set-aside vendor if you're a construction firm with $10 million revenue or less. The next step would be to look at possibly joint venturing, whether it be with a prime contractor, one of your counterparts in the technical assistance program, another client, diverse firm, veteran-owned firm, woman-owned firm. So you can either joint venture with a larger firm or a colleague, somebody that is on the same level that you might be. Just taking in mind that you have to know and trust that that partner can deliver their product and service on time, on budget, and will hold themselves accountable if anything goes wrong with the work. The last piece is actually serving as a subcontractor. Serving as a subcontractor is just simply working for one of the larger prime contractors out here bidding on tollway work. And there are some incentives to doing that too as well. And then if we can go to the next slide. Where do we find our unbundled and small business set-aside opportunities? What you're looking at on this slide, a lot of us might be familiar with, but for those that are not familiar with this, I'll go through this very quickly. This is the tollways bid letting schedule. Using the bid letting schedule, you want to learn how to use the bid letting schedule to your advantage to get ahead of the game. And there are a couple of things I will point out to you on the bid letting schedule. The first thing is over to the left where it says Illinois toll projects, and it has a color code upper left. That tells you where the projects are going to happen. So those colors coordinate with the colors within the bid letting schedule, so you know generally where a project will be. The second thing is you want to look at the cost magnitude key, which is upper right-hand corner. And what you'll see is an A, 10 million to 25 million. Any of the projects that have A in the last column where it says cost magnitude, the furthest right-hand column, will tell you that project is expected to be somewhere between 10 to 25 million. On down to column E where it is above 100 million, and then you'll see the U, which represents the unbundled projects, and then under the U, you'll see a USA, which actually U/SA, which stands for the unbundled small business set-aside projects. And you'll be able to tell the cost magnitude again to your right column. And if you look, you can just see the A's, the B's, you'll see 3 U's, and then you'll see a USA. So I did provide a link, or we did provide a link at the end of this deck to get to this bid letting schedule. And these are just some of the ways to find the unbundled and small business set-aside opportunities with the Illinois Toll Authority. Register for Bidbuy. Thank you very much, Rod. So registering for Bidbuy. There is a link again to get on the Bidbuy system to be able to register. But one thing I wanted to make sure we pointed out, there's actually training to register for Bidbuy. And if you see on the slide, middle left, you see where it says video 1, you'll see the blue. It might not be something that you can read, but video 1 in blue, video 2 and video 3. So video 1, just to let you know, are for non-IPG, that's Illinois Procurement Gateway registered users, and then video 3 are for the IPG, the Illinois Procurement Gateway registered users, on how to register for Bidbuy. So there's actually registration training when you go to the site and attempt to register. If we can go to the next slide.
Bidbuy Training.
Okay, so here we go. Thanks again, Rob. So Bidbuy Training, just to let everybody know that there is not just registration training, but there are 5 training videos to walk you through how to actually use Bidbuy in different situations. So we talked about a couple of ways, or we thought about a couple of ways to present this. There's plenty of training to navigate the system. We didn't want to duplicate that, but rather give you the resources to be able to go on your own when you are expecting to bid, or when you're expecting to bid, or you're in the process of bidding. If you get stuck, there are some trainings out here to help you to register, not just register, but to actually be able to navigate Bidbuy. And I do want to make sure that I note that Bidbuy training and access is different for folks that are registered on the Illinois Procurement Gateway versus folks that are not registered on the Illinois Procurement Gateway. It should also be noted that all of these trainings are training on demand, so you can do the training at your leisure at any point in time, that you can access the internet and watch either the training video or review the PowerPoints with the videos. All right, so here we go, finding opportunities. Thank you, Rod. Finding opportunities. There are 2 ways that I noted, but there are really 3 ways to find tollway opportunities. One, and I would suggest, is the bid letting schedule. And key to this bid letting schedule, it's for future projects, so upcoming projects. The second way you can do, and you can actually see on this slide, is the online plan room. The difference between the bid letting schedule and the online plan plan room is this: is the bid letting schedule will tell you what projects are up and coming. The online plan room is actually bids that are open right now. So if you're looking to be a subcontractor, for instance, I want to get in front of it and be and look at the bid letting schedule to see who's pulled the plans, to have conversations with the potential prime contractors about you coming on as a subcontractor. That is your strategic entry point. If you are looking at the online plan room, it's probably a bit late because the plans have been pulled, people are working on their bids, and a lot of times folks have already found their partners. So those are two ways. The third way is actually developing a relationship with some of the, what I would call the usual suspects. So the prime contractors that are typically known for bidding on tollway projects. Building a relationship with one or more of those and letting them know that you are available as a small business subcontractor, diverse subcontractor, and that you're a woman, veteran, or minority-owned firm. These prime contractors are looking for committed partners, reliable partners. So if you build a relationship with them, they'll actually reach out to you on their own and let you know about upcoming projects and ask you for your number. So that's the third way that's not noted on finding opportunities, but equally as effective, depending on if you want to pursue a project as a prime contractor, small business set-aside contractor, through a joint venture, or through subcontracting.
Managing multiple quotes.
Thank you very much, Rod. So managing multiple quotes. Again, we have links to several trainings that will actually walk you through managing multiple quotes, but I just wanted to give you a high-level view of that. So when you're in that stage, this is where you can have the 3 or 4 jobs that you are potentially interested in bidding on, working on bids, and you can just see the different stages it's in. Informal, which is just something that's on your radar. Working would be quotes that you're working on putting together a technical proposal or pricing proposal on. The submitted are your actual submitted quotes that you have submitted a technical proposal and a pricing proposal on. I'll talk about that more. Revision and withdrawn. So withdrawn would be the step that you'll take if you decide that you either want to withdraw to the full process and not submit your numbers, or if you need to revise the number. So in the system, being able to take a quote from submitted to withdrawn is something that you can do to either resubmit the numbers or withdraw it all the way out of the system. And again, we have a great video that was done by David Luttrell of the Tollway. It's about a 21-minute video that will walk you through this and the next slide, which is managing multiple quotes, and then the next slide, which we'll go to, is managing an individual bid. So managing individual bids. Each individual bid, for example, if you were looking to do a utility relocation bid, or a landscaping bid, or a bridge spraying bid, or something of that nature, each individual bid, you're going to have 2 proposal numbers. One is for the technical proposal. The second one is for the pricing proposal. So one is just how you do the job and what way method you're going to use to complete the job. The second will be how much it will cost. So you will have to submit 2 proposals for each opportunity you are submitting a bid for. But I wanted to point out in these 9 basic areas, 2 that are particularly important to us if we're looking to submit a bid through Bidbuy to the tollway. The first one is number 4, subcontractors. Even if you are submitting a bid as a prime contractor, if you are a certified firm and that you are a minority-owned firm, this is a certified minority-owned firm, a certified woman-owned business, a certified veteran-owned firm, then you still want to, under this subcontractor, and I put in parentheses, self-performing BEP vendor, you want to go in and add whatever you're self-performing so you get credit for the work that you're doing, even though you're the prime contractor. That is where you submit for you to get credit for your goals that you have to hit for minority, women, and veteran-owned firms to count your self-performance. The other piece will be line item number 7, which is attachments. Attachments is where you will basically live when you're dealing on Bidbuy. Attachments is the place where you will actually attach the way that you're going to go about technically completing the work, and then also where you submit the pricing proposal on the separate pricing proposal quote. And everything else is just things that you use internally as you're going through the preparation stage. Of course, questions, if you have questions about The bid notes are your internal notes to, if you had a JV partner who was partnered on this bid, how they actually, how you communicate with them, and then of course terms and conditions and everything else of that nature. Um, and then what we'll do is I will now turn this over to Elise, if Elise is here,
I'm
and
here.
Elise will cover preparing the technical proposal and also the pricing proposal.
All right, this is the meat of the whole shebang, the proposal. And it's very important that once the RFP has come out, that the contractor or his administrative staff go through the proposal in detail to make sure that they're aware of what the requirements are. It's very easy for you to overlook something and then your bid will not be accepted. Do not wait until the week it is due to start looking at it. So many times there are going to be documents that you might need, and if you don't give yourself enough time, you won't be able to get them. So I just want to give you a few tips in making sure that you submit your proposal correctly. The first one is for the bid. This, of course, is the meat of your proposal. It is what your pricing will be located on. And as DeVay mentioned, this is going to be, oh, and we'll talk about that in the next slide, but they want you to submit your proposal and your pricing as two separate bids, two separate numbers. So just make sure that you include all the dates of the addendums. That's usually on the first page of the bid. Typically with a lot of our proposals, there are addendums that are that come out. The tollway will amend or correct or add on different requirements to the bid. I would also recommend, if you have Adobe Acrobat, if you don't have it, to get it, because that will help you to make your documents look very professional. You can type in your information. DBE with the tollway, DBE certification is required, although they will recognize MBE certifications from the city and the county. But if you can, I would encourage you, if you don't have it, to get your DBE certification. And again, there are DBE and veteran requirements for each of these proposals. So it's very good if you don't have relationships with a veteran company, that you start looking at some veteran companies that you can use as subcontractors on these proposals. IDHR number. This is the Illinois Department of Human Rights number. You must have one of these to do a tollway bid. So if you do not have one, I would encourage you to go ahead now and start applying for one. It's very simple. You can do it the same day, although it's going to take them, I think, a few days for them to get the number to you. But if you don't have it at the time that you submit your bid, you can at least show that you did apply for it, and they will check afterwards. Subcontractors, as I mentioned, there's always a veteran goal and a DBE goal. If you are not either one of those, you will have to find subcontractors to help fulfill those goals. And there is paperwork that is required for your subs to fill out. Again, this is so important, because if you omit any of the paperwork that's required, your bid will be rejected. So you want to make sure that you go through and, again, delineate those items that need to go to your subcontractors. For DBE, it's called Form DBE 2025, and for the veterans, it's called Form VOSB 2025, okay? And the last thing I want to just point out is substance abuse. They do want to make sure that you have a policy in place, and they may ask for proof of that if you say you have it. So again, this should probably be in your employee handbook. As I stated earlier, the pricing, your bid is going to be uploaded separately from all the technical documentation that they require. I would also just like to add, it's probably good for you when you are uploading your proposal into Bidbuy that you label each document, so that it makes it easy not only for the tollway to know what's being submitted, but also for yourself in case you have to make any changes, because you can, if you've submitted a quote and you find out that you need to make a change, you can delete that quote. All right. So again, when you go into the Bidbuy and you are submitting your proposal and your pricing, they will have two separate numbers. Do not submit your pricing with your technical proposal.
All right. So appreciate that, Elise. And just to close out, this is the reward for everybody sitting through and staying awake through our presentation is the important links. And again, what I said at the beginning of this is we really didn't want to go through the step-by-step, click-by-click, but really wanted to give you a basic overview of how Bidbuy works and then leave you with the tools and the resources to be able to access Bidbuy and register for things that are relevant for you to put together a winning tollway bid. So just through the important links, I'll go through it briefly. First link is just, of course, Bidbuy. This is how you get on the Bidbuy. Next link is just how you register in Bidbuy. The third link would be the 5 training videos I referenced earlier. Fourth link is just the Illinois Procurement Gateway. Illinois Procurement Gateway is where you can go to get registered as an IPG vendor, to receive notifications on upcoming opportunities, tollway, and then it's just not limited to tollway. Any thing that's in line with your NIPG codes, you'll get sent notifications of upcoming opportunities. The next one is specifically, even though you can do it through the Illinois Procurement Gateway, that is the specific link to get registered and certified as a small business set-aside vendor, so that the small business set-aside projects we alluded to earlier, you're able to bid on those, because if it does have an SA by the project on the tollway bid letting schedule, that is definitely a small business set-aside opportunity. So you have to be small business set-aside registered a certified vendor. Next link is the Tollway Online Plan Room to see what's going on with current bids that are in the process. People are working on those right away. And then the next slide will be on the Illinois Tollway Bid Letting Schedule, the future and upcoming bids. You can keep track of things and stay ahead of things. And then the last one would be the Tollway Vendor Training. This was the one done by a gentleman at the Tollway, David Luttrell, and it does go literally click by click through. It's about a 21-minute video that goes click by click through the tollway and actually the tollway's use of Bidbuy. With that, that actually concludes everything. We want to thank you all. If we go to the next slide, you'll have Elise's information. If you are a technical assistance client of Inner City Underwriting Agency, you'll have my information. If you are a if you are a technical assistance client of the Illinois State Black Chamber of Commerce. And then we have a couple of other TA providers that are here. We didn't get their information on this slide, but what I'd like to do is let you know that any questions that you have about preparing to win a tollway bid, you do want to reach out to the TA agency. The Tollway has done a lot to create this technical assistance program. We've got a lot of great agencies out here, so reach out to your technical assistance providing agency for assistance with Bidbuy, registering for the Illinois Procurement Gateway, getting certified, DBE, getting certified as a CMS, MBE, or veteran-owned small business, and also getting IDOT pre-qualified, all the things that you'll need to put in a tollway bid. That, again, is what we're here for, as technical assistance providers. And again, I'd like to thank the Tollway for allowing us to put this presentation on. I'd like to thank Inner City Underwriting Agency for being a great partner and putting this together and hosting this event.